Greetings, my champions of the light, and welcome to Light Be With You, the classic hardcore challenge, where we must reach level 60 while maintaining our holy vows. In the last episode, we ventured through the forests of Ashenvale, aiding the night elf Pemi in their vengeance against favours kind, and in return he even offered to help me cleanse the waters of Mistral Lake by purging the befouled water elementals. We even ventured into the Barrens, and together we took down the skeletal mage, freeing the waters of Ashenvale once more. And just like in our last adventure, we must follow the holy commandments. We must harm no creatures. We must sacrifice ourselves for others, doing everything within reason to save lives. And we must not beg for help or carries. We begin our adventures in the elven town of Astrana. And what do you know? It appears that Pemi from the last episode has decided to write us a lovely letter indeed. Well, Pemi, I must say I am quite taken aback. I do indeed take pride in this lovely community of holy disciples, and it is true that every week I do look forward and appreciate all of your comments and support following our latest adventures. And I do intend to follow the path of the holy light for as long as I am able, and whether we perish in one of our adventures or until Classic Plus is finally released, you can expect the adventures of Saint Scorp to continue every week. And thank you once again, my disciples, and Pemi, you are truly the most devout followers of the holy light. And what do you know, right after picking up this quest to venture to Stonetalon Mountains, I receive a whisper from this friendly gnome mage, and he asked me if I would be interested in healing the Deadmines. And quite honestly, my friends, I could do with the experience points, and so I agree to join him on his journey. Meanwhile, I find this quest to collect 5 of this strange plant just to the north of this outpost. And my friends, I gladly accept any quest that doesn't require me to do battle with any creatures. Fairly soon, my friends, it turns out that no mage, well, let's just say he could not find a tank. And I'm not surprised. These are trying times indeed for those who play on the hardcore classic WoW realm of Doomhowl. With the likes of Burning Crusade Classic and the new expansion Midnight, there are certainly not that many adventurers left in this realm. And I do hope that eventually, adventurers will return to the world of hardcore WoW. We finally come across a Bathran's haunt, and these forsaken fiends, well, let's just say, it turns out they are not undead, so I am not able to use my Shackle Undead spell. Fortunately, my friends, I am able to use my Mind Soothe ability, allowing me to slip unnoticed nearby and collect the strange plant. And after a few close calls, where it turns out if Mind Soothe is resisted, it causes the creature to attack you, I am fortunately able to collect all of these strange hairy plants without causing any harm to those creatures, and I return these strange plants for a decent amount of experience points. But the real juice of this quest will come in returning the cure that the Night Elf had crafted from these Bathran's hair to a Night Elf in Astrana. But we are not returning to the town just yet. As we venture towards the western coast of Ashenvale, I come across a small lake surrounded by Murloc fiends. Fortunately, my friends, Mind Soothe also works on these Murlocs, and I am able to sneak to the center of the lake undisturbed. And it is here, my friends, I find a dead body. And this kind corpse, my friends, offers me a healthy dose of experience points. Unfortunately, my friends, the follow-on quest to collect a glowing gem from these Murlocs, well, let's just say doing such a quest would break our holy vows. And so we continue west towards the coastline. And oh boy, there sure are plenty of herbs nearby, and we are sure to harvest them while on our journey. Finally, my friends, we meet up with a sad and depressed night elf called Talon, and let's just say he really wants his toy back. Anyway, we venture along the coastline, mind-soothing these nearby Naga so they do not attack us. I actually find this ancient statuette, and let's just say I think I have an idea why this particular item is so important to him. And when I bring it back to him, he is very pleased indeed. Unfortunately, as he attempts to, open it up, well, it's locked and he's not able to get in. And so, he's quite sad again, and unfortunately, his follow-on quest to slay a Naga in order to find the key, well, I'm afraid I cannot do that. Good luck, Talon. We make our return journey to Astrana. And what do you know? Inside this treasure chest is a rare recipe, the elixir of minor agility. And as an alchemist, I am quick to learn this new recipe. And to be honest, my friends, I'm not sure how valuable this elixir actually is, as it does actually require swift thistle, which is sought after already, to brew even more powerful potions. We return to Astrana, and I hand over the cure made from the Bathran's hair. And we are offered a whopping 25 silvers and a decent amount of experience points. Unfortunately, my friends, it turns out that this cure, well, let's just say it didn't work. And so we are tasked with finding a different solution. And so we venture out into the forests of Ashenvale. And after narrowly escaping some vicious bears, we come across the Iris Lake, surrounded by these strange moss-eaters. I've never seen a creature like them. Fortunately, I'm able to sneak on through and grab the Elun's Tear, both a strange and most holy relic indeed. I spend far too long at the top of a cliff, debating whether the fall would be enough to kill me, before finding a more sensible way down. And after returning to Astrana, I hand over the Elun's Tear, and as you're probably expecting, this item did not work. And we are tasked with finding yet another solution. We venture further this time, venturing far out into the ancient ruins of Ashenvale. And finally, we come across yet another lake, and it is surrounded by more of those terrifying moss creatures. My mind-soothe ability will not help me here. I'm going to have to do everything I can to sneak in and grab these Stardust berries without being seen. And despite collecting a few, it quickly becomes clear that I am going to struggle to get the last one. Any sort of path that I would try to take, let's just say it's infested with these moss creatures. I even try going very far around the lake, but as you would probably guess, this area is also infested. Finally, I see what I believe to be an opening, and I make a mad dash towards the final Stardust berry. And after retrieving it, I make a quick escape. Unfortunately, my friends, the light does protect me, and I am able to return to the town of Astrana. And having arrived, I speak with Pelturus once more, and I hand him over the Stardust for a healthy dose of experience points. And although the fever has finally been cured, it is clear that Pelturus's daughter is probably not going to survive, and I do feel like I finessed him out of a lot of silver coins. But unfortunately, my friends, his final quest to slay one of those giant moss creatures, well, as you already know, good luck in killing that moss monster, my friend. I believe the time has finally come to step foot out of Ashenvale, and before long, my friends, we come upon the Talon Deep Path, a very long underground tunnel, which is the only way to get from Ashenvale into the Stonetalon Mountains. And having finally made it to our destination, you better believe I'm going to collect every herb in sight. And oh my goodness me, my friends, there are sure a lot of them. I suppose this is what happens when so many adventurers actively avoid this quest zone. Fortunately, my friends, we are not here to do that many quests. And it's not long before we come across our first contact, who unfortunately wants us to slay some goblins. We ignore that quest, and we continue our journey, heading further north into the mountains. And after making it past many obstacles, we finally make it to the Stonetalon Peak. And what do you know? Stonetalon Peak sure does contain a lot of herbs. And after speaking with the keeper, this half-stag and half-night elf guy, I decide, without outright saying it to his face, that I am not going to do his follow-on quest to slay harpies. And so we take the flight path back to the town of Astrana. And while we fly, my friends, you see, my friends, in the last episode, I asked you if it is acceptable for a pacifist priest like me to deal damage to totems. And it's clear that many of you believe that these imbued magical totems, well, they don't count as living creatures. Remember, my friends, it is your influence that helps to keep me on the path of the holy light. And so, my friends, following what appears to be a unanimous vote, I am permitted to knock over totems. And wow, that is extremely useful. You never know when a totem could be the difference between life and death. We finally make our landing. But we actually leave Astrana, and we head northwest until we reach the border with Darkshore. And after traveling to the coastline, I believe it's finally time we collect these last sea creature bones. With our mind soothe ability and having us be a few levels higher than before, we are able to finally collect these beach sea creature remains from the higher level areas. I even find a random clam. And after collecting the other sea creature remains, thanks to the use of our mind soothe ability, I begin traveling towards Oberdeen to hand in these sea creature bones to Gwyneth Blailagonde. And what do you know, it's during this adventure back to Oberdeen that friendly gnome mage from earlier, let's just say he may have finally found a tank, and he's asking me if I will join him on his adventure. I agree, and it's not long before I've been invited to a Deadmines group, and it seems to be a well-balanced group of level 20s. I finally make it back to Gwyneth Blailagonde, and she's most pleased indeed, and I hand over a huge number of sea creature bones. And the experience is most excellent indeed. I make the quick flight to the city of Darnassus, and I make a sorry attempt at emptying all of my herbs into the bank. It's clear I'll have to do some alchemy next episode. We finally find the preach trainer in the Temple of the Moon, and I learn a new level of power word fortitude and power word shield. And once done, I begin hearthstoning to the goblin town of Ratchet, and after quickly vendoring some junk, I make my way to the dock, and I wait patiently for the vessel to Booty Bay to arrive. And after what feels like a ridiculously long wait, I finally see the boat on the horizon. And after arriving in the goblin town of Booty Bay, I speak to the flight master, and a griffin begins to carry me north, and make my way towards the Deadmines. Now, my friends, I'm not going to go into great detail about the Deadmines adventure, as by now I am certain that you already know how it goes. We venture into the instance and we do battle with the Defias bandits. Obviously, I do not cause any direct harm to these creatures, but I am happy to heal my allies while they do the murdering. We bring down Rakzor with ease, and thanks to my rested XP, I receive a generous amount of experience points. And once again another boss falls, and I am now quite certain that I will level once more this episode. And it is here, my friends, as we make our ways towards the shipyard, I realize that the rogue is actually able to lockpick the door, and so we do not need to alert the entire shipyard to our presence by blowing open the door with the cannon. A short while later we bring down Mr. Smite, and although our warrior tank doesn't appear to have a shield, now that I am level 24, I am easily able to out-heal the damage caused by Mr. Smite. The Murloc cookie falls, and this is all that is needed to level me to level 25. We finish up with Captain Greenskin, and we take down Edwin Van Cleef. And after parting ways with these adventurers, I take a griffin ride to the city of Stormwind. And with that, my friends, I believe we have come to an end to this episode. Thank you again for watching, and always remember, light be with you.